cruising down a country road. Arms around my woman, shaking off my load. Sun shining down, no worries to be found. The wind at our backs and ready to let it ride. 'Cause it's a good thing that's coming over me. There's no other place that I wanna be. Oh yeah, deep down inside when it feels alright. Oh, that's when you know it's a good thing.
Okay, so remember this is the talent contest and it's to raise money for Friends of Veterans, but we're here to have a good time too. And I want to introduce to you guys, Paolo Joseph O'Keefe, see, tell me his name. And he's going to talk a little bit before the event gets started. Okay.
Good evening, folks. I'm the chaplain over at the White River Junction VA Medical Center. And I've been there for about 6.5 years. Before that, I had a wonderful experience for 27 years as an Army active duty chaplain. I want me to say a word to you about this table over here. And in both the American Legion and the VFW, in their posts, in the lounge, there's a table just like this. Beautiful tablecloth on it, and there's a chair, there's a plate. On that plate is a slice of lemon, and that slice of lemon is kind of bitter, and the bitterness is that our prisoners of war are in isolation, and that's a bitter feeling of being all alone. You see there's a wine glass there, but it's turned upside down because our brother comrades can't be with us to lift the glass and celebrate the freedoms that we enjoy. There's a salt shaker. Salt is both bitter and preservative. And we think of those who might be prisoners of war or those who are missing in action and the bitter tears that their loved ones shed for their absence. And then the rose. The rose is a sign of hope. It is a sign of loyalty. Our loyalty to our fellow brothers and sisters in arms. And so we think of them each time we have a post meeting. We have a meeting once a month for the post, whether it's the VFW or the American Legion. And we start every meeting with remembering our comrades who are lost. If I can take just one more minute to share something. In 1998, I had just been promoted to full colonel, and I'd been named as the command chaplain for the Military District of Washington. And there was a realization that the person who had been buried as the unknown soldier from Vietnam, with the new DNA tests that they're able to do, they thought that they had a pretty good idea of who this unknown was. There was a real controversy whether we should disturb the tomb or not. And There were pros and cons. But the decision was finally made, yes. And the reason for the decision to say yes was, if we could bring closure and peace to one more American family, if we could identify those remains, then we should. And so we had a ceremony early in May, and we disinterred the Vietnam vet, had prayers, took him to Walter Reed. They did the DNA tests, and they were able to identify the remains as that of an Air Force captain who had been killed in Vietnam. So his family took his remains back to St. Louis. They had a mass, and he was buried in a military cemetery near St. Louis. So then the question is, well, what are we going to do with the space where the Vietnam vet was? Because we have no more unknown from the Vietnam War. So the plaque, the slab that is in the ground at Arlington Cemetery, next to the tomb of the unknown soldier from World War I, and then the unknown soldier from World War II, and the unknown soldier from Korea, there's a space that now has a plaque that says, for all American missing in action or shot down or lost at sea. So whether it was submarines or aircraft or just missing in action, that slab represents them, just as this table reminds us of all those missing. So tonight we are trying to get money for our friends of veterans to help them in their programs. We're with our vets, both at the White River Junction VA and throughout the state of Vermont. So, with that little history and introduction, I'd ask you to please bow your head and let us say a prayer. O gracious God, Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, O God of Abraham and Isaac, of Jacob, of all the prophets of the Old Testament and of the New Testament. O Lord, we gather here this evening and we thank you for the freedoms that we enjoy as Americans. We ask you to continue to watch over our nation. We ask you to be with the men and women who, at this very moment, stand on the wall and defend our freedom on land, on sea, and in the air. We ask you to watch over our deployed military personnel in combat zones. And as soon as possible, may they come home in peace to their loved ones. Watch over all of our veterans who have suffered wounds of body and mind and spirit as a result of their participation in the defense of our country and for the freedom of people around the world. Lord, bless us with all, help us to realize all the blessings that we have received, and help us to be generous in our support of one another. And we make this prayer in thy holy name. Amen. Have a great evening.
Thank you so much, Father Joe. Now, as you can see, there's not many people here, but that just means we can have more fun. Right? Okay. Well, we're going to start off with Tim Breck singing one of his you're singing one of your newest songs, right?
Yep.
One of his newest songs. Okay? All righty, so here's Tim, everybody.
All right. This is my first time ever at the American Legion down here in White River Junction. Quite the room, I must say. I want to thank Linda for having me as a judge and to be a part of this show. I'm very honored, and hopefully we can bring a lot of help to friends of veterans. And I know I had a grandfather that served 22 years in the U.S. Navy, and so it's I'm no stranger to having family members as part of the armed services and laying it on the line, so I can be up here and do what I do for you guys. So without all the politics and all that, I'll get on to the music and sing a new song after I get rid of the gun. This is a song, it's a feel-good song. It's about just a summertime feeling of kicking back and enjoying life. And so this is a song, it's the first song on my new CD, Free to Run, and we do have that on sale over here at the table along with some t-shirts and all that jazz. So here we go. This is a song called Kicking Back. I hope you enjoy it. Nothing to do on this hot afternoon but to sit down and have me a drink. I've been working real hard and feeling tired, and I need a little space to think. On across the street, well, she's looking real good in the tight blue jeans, and I'm just laying here with a smile. I'm just kicking back, no worries at all. Got my phone shut off, so don't bother to call. Forget about this world for a little while. I got an ice cold rack and I'm just kicking back. Well, I don't know why I let this mean old world sometimes get the best of me. Pedal to the floor and blindly speeding towards some unknown destiny. But every now and then I need to unwind from all the things that weigh me down and bring it back home to what's real. I'm just kicking back, no worries at all. Got my phone shut off, so don't bother to call. Forget about this world for a little while. I got an ice cold rock and I'm just kicking back. Whoa, that summer sun sinking low in the clear blue sky as another lazy day slips on by. I'm just kicking back, no worries at all. Got my phone shut off, so don't bother to call. Forget about this world for a little while. I got an ice cold rack and I'm just kicking back. I'm just kicking back, no worries at all. Got an ice cold rack and I'm just kicking back. I'm just kicking back, no worries at all, Lord. Thank you.
I want you to tell everybody something here.
Oh, yeah?
You know, I'm the host, so I'm not supposed to be in the talent contest, right? You right? Yeah. Right. You're my favorite singer, right?
So I told me.
So I've decided that we put on your song Crazy Woman and I do a dance.
Okay.
Is that all right?
That's fine.
You going to be proud to be the singer of that song?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Well, I wrote it. I'll own up to it.
Are you ready for this? Are you sure?
Am I going to be here or
Is
there?
everybody out there ready for this? Come on now. Yeah, let me dance. What do you think, Kayla? Here
Hey,
we
there
go.
we go. Not only my merchandise woman, but the tech. Good job, huh? You gotta do the two-step, man. Justin and Moon. Oh.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? I'm dizzy now.
Jeez, I can't imagine why.
Anyway, I'm going to introduce the judges.
Would you like the microphone?
Yeah, I could take my breath a little bit here. Okay. We're going to introduce the judges. And so far we've got two contestants. That means two contestants get a chance at $200. So far. Let's hope some more come. Go out and drag out your grandma. Call your papa. Tell him to come down. Tell him we got some food. Got some wonderful people down here. Okay, well, the first thing I want to do is to make sure everybody knows there's raffles down there. There's some Friends of Veterans. I'm still catching my breath. Dog tags, bracelets for sale down there. We've got crackers over here. We got Cambric CDs and T-shirts and photos, and I bet he's signing for you too if you'd like him to. So anyway, now I'm going to talk about the judges, okay? So first of all, I catch my breath still. Is that terrible or what? Must be getting old. Really? So I'm going to start down this end, start with Tim Michaels. Hey, Tim. Hey. Tim Michaels is the radio personality from Star 92.9. Tim has gone around the country playing with, doing radio spots with some of the world's great, like John Bon Jovi. And we work out of, like I said, Star 92.9. And Tim and I have a special relationship because we met through a mutual friend, which is Frankie Carr. And Frankie Carr is a really good friend of mine. I met him on, somebody called me and told me about him, I think. And one thing I found out about Frankie Carr is he has the famous machine gun guitar. And then I heard him sing. He sings pretty good, can't he? He's real good. Yeah, because he's had his own band, he's got everything. Yeah. So he's an all-around good guy. But I wanted everybody to know that Tim Michaels is a great guy, a great radio personality. And I'm so grateful that Frankie Carr got me connected with you. So thank you, Tim. Are you going to be a really stern critic or kind of a good critic, or what are you going to be? Hey, how would you rate that song, that dance I just did? Come on, be honest. I'm going to ask you all. Wait a minute, I need an opinion now.
It was wonderful.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay, so now we're going on to Brianna Klein. Now, Brianna Klein is the office manager at CATV 8, which is where I do the Walking Through Life TV show. So I got to pick on Brianna every now and again when I go to the studio now. You know, it just has to happen. But Brianna's learned my little tweaks because when I come in, I'm kind of agitated or whatever. She's discovered she brings a DVD thing that has ocean fish on it. If Linda's getting upset, hey Linda, I got a room all ready for you. I'm going to put your favorite CD and DVD in. So, but I do pick on her terrible, so she has to put up with me, but she does. And Brianna has a way of noticing talent around the studio and stuff like that. She's very professional at that, knowing who's got talent. So I want to ask her another question. Brianna, what'd you think of the Crazy Woman dance?
1 to 5, 1 to 10.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything you want. Go ahead, be honest. Not too honest, though.
I'm going to be Simon Cowell.
Not too honest now.
I'm going to...
Not too honest.
2.5.
What?
2.5.
Why? You don't think
There's
it's like...
no comparison yet. How am I...
Well, yeah, but you... Okay, say there's like
another
20...
dance and then I'll have...
Well, no, I'm kind of proof of that. But say there is at least 20 acts up here. Mine was one of them. What would you rate me?
I'll put you at the top of it.
Oh, right. I'm at the top. This is good. This is good. Okay, and I want to also mention the guy that you just saw up here singing his little heart out is Tim Brick, who's my favorite singer in the whole world. Of course, that's just recently because he's not that old. You know, he's really young. You know, so, but I pick on him about that too. Me and Ted kind of adopted him as a little brother, right, Tim? Yeah. And so we get him going. He often makes stops down to Walking Through Life TV show. So I want to make sure I mention to that. And Tim, what kind of a judge are you going to be?
And honest but fair. As Fox would say, fair and balanced.
Okay, so tell me, how would you rate the Crazy Woman dance? Now remember, the music wasn't that loud.
Oh, well, as compared to my dancing, it was tops.
All right, good. So that means I get a 10.5?
Well,
I'll give you the sign.
okay, yeah, we'll go with 9 and 2 stars. 9.5 stars.
Okay, I'll take that. Why not? And then last judge we have is Judy Kingsley. Judy is known around town as somebody that's always playing country music and loves country music and loves everybody in White River Junction. So everybody knows Judy. And what do they call you, Judy Mama, Mama Judy? Mama Judy. Everybody calls her Mama Judy. And why? Because everybody really loves Judy because she tells them what they want to hear. Okay, so Judy, since we know your Mama Judy and everybody loves you, right? What would you rate this dance?
I'll give you a 10.
Yeah!
Why? No.
No, wait a minute, I got the high score so far.
Because you had a lot of guts up there.
There, see?
Yeah. Definitely
I knew
a
there was
10.
good reason. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think it's awesome. So I kind of broke the mold here, which means that now we can start on the actual talent round, which doesn't include me. So the first one I'm going to bring up is, wait a minute, I know your last name's Churchill.
Wait.
Dwayne. I'm going to bring up Dwayne Churchill, and he's going to be playing his horn. And don't ask me what kind it is, but he's going to tell you.
Yeah, it's a trumpet.
It's a trumpet. Okay, that was a good one. Okay, so everybody give a round of applause for Dwayne.
I'm a beginner trumpeter. And
Oh, wait a minute. What do I do for this song? Do you need the song?
no, I'll just tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to play one verse of 3 different songs. I'm going to play a hymn, Living for Jesus, one verse of that, and then a verse of the Battle Hymn of the Republic, and then America the Beautiful.
That was wonderful. I really enjoyed that. How old are you?
16.
Wow.
Forgot the
Have you
words.
thought about going to American Idol or X Factor?
Not really.
No?
No,
You haven't thought about it?
not really.
Well, you might want to put that in the back of your head anyway. That's what I think. So we're going to get feedback from the judges. They're really nice, you know.
Okay.
They are. They may seem mean, but they're really, really nice. Really, they are. Okay. Well, I don't know. I don't know.
I just forgot the words.
Yeah, well, look at Rihanna there. No, she really looks mean, don't she? We got to give him a hard time. If they get it really out of rowdy, we'll get Larry over there to be judge. How's that? Larry will be the 5th judge there. Okay, so Tim?
Well, she was a lot less nervous than I was first time I ever went on the radio. And she did a good job.
I thought you did too. Yeah.
I like when you bounce back from when you lost the words for a second, you jump right back in. I was really, really impressed with that.
Yeah.
Super awesome.
Yeah. Tim Britt?
I thought you did good at, I think the music was too low for you. I think you were kind of having a hard time maybe with that, but still you were able to do it and get it out over that. It's hard to do that, the balance, when you're coming out of a separate system and when the other one's coming out of another system. So with that, you did very well. And I agree with Brianna. Sometimes when you're on stage and things don't always go right, it's very important. It's just as important how you overcome that and let it fall by the wayside and don't let it tear you down or tear you apart. And like, you did very good at coming back from that, so kudos on that.
And Mama Judy?
Keisha, I've seen you perform before, and you got kudos to you, like Tim was saying, for even being up there. I mean, whether you're 16 or 60, I mean, it's just, you've been right there, you know, helping out and doing the talent shows and stuff, and, you know, I'm very proud of you for being up there and having the guts to do it.
Wow, gives you some positive feedback there. What do you think of that? You want to say anything to the judges? How about Larry over here? You want to say anything, Larry? How about Larry? Look at that Larry over there. You want to say anything? Go ahead, we'll let you say something, Larry. Larry, go ahead. Hi.
Hi.
I gotta tell you what.
That's Marsha over there.
As long as she's doing that to you, I gotta tell you also, I agree with them. Get out there, it takes a lot of guts to start with, but when you stumble a little bit and come back like that, that's pretty awesome.
That's very brave, and you did it. I mean, I would have curdled. I would have curdled. I'm so proud of you. Seriously. We all are, aren't we? Well, now it looks like it's intermission time. Does anyone take a break and listen to some more Tim Brick? We got Tim Brick coming back up again. So we're going to bring Tim Brick up for a little bit. And if anybody has any questions for any of the judges or would like to talk to Larry or anybody else here, feel free to. If you decide you want to be contestants, raise your hand. You're beyond quick. You can do a crazy song. You can do the same thing I did if you want. Okay, well anyway, once again I'm proud to say my favorite singer, Tim Brick. I'm going to sing another one of his new songs.
Kind of in honor of the times that we're living in today. I was telling my friend earlier today, I can never remember such times that, well, since I've been alive, where people have been struggling so much. The country is in turmoil in a lot of areas. There's a lot of conflicts going on with everything from politics to religion to life to, everything. You name it, and there's a problem going on, it seems like. And but this song is all about going through troubles, but coming out on the other side. And remember that there's always hope. And this is a song called Hard Times on Easy Street. Seems to grow a little colder every year, and now I long for better days and better weather. It's gonna be a long, hard road to Texas. These dreams of mine, well, they made me strong. They keep me moving down that line, singing my song. But until I find someone who believes in me, these dreams of mine, oh honey, they're just dreams. I like to walk your high road, but I always get stuck on the low. I've been walking it so long, it's all that I know. Someday that's gonna change when my ship rolls in and these hard times drop me down on easy street. Well, I'm stuck up here in this room for rent all alone, writing all these songs with you on my mind. I've got no money in my pockets, no gas in my car. The good times have hit the road, left me behind. I like to walk your high road, but I always get stuck on the low. I've been walking it so long, it's all that I know. But someday that's gonna change when my ship rolls in and these hard times drop me down on easy street. Oh, and someday that's gonna change when my ship rolls in, and these hard times drop me down on easy street. Thank you. Another one? All right. This is was the first single off my latest CD. The CD is entitled Free to Run, and there's some copies available over here. And you can also go to my website, timbrickmusic.com, and purchase some CDs there, or just find out about my history, my background, find out where I'm going to be playing next. And if you only like a certain song off the CD, I'm also available on iTunes and Rhapsody and Amazon and all that good stuff. So you just type in my name and I'll pop up. For now, this is a song called It's a Good Thing. Cruising down a country road, arms around my woman, shaking off my load. Sun shining down, no worries to be found. The wind at our backs and ready to let it ride. 'Cause it's a good thing that's coming over me. There's no other place that I wanna be. Oh yeah, deep down inside, when it feels alright. Oh, that's when you know it's a good thing. Loving under the stars, slow and easy, that suits my style. Her arms wrapped around me tight, holds me through the night. Her every touch just drives me wild. 'Cause it's a good thing that's coming over me. There's no other place that I wanna be. Oh yeah, down inside, when it feels so right. Oh, that's when you know it's a good thing. When the world turns away and the nights grow lonely, well, she looks into my eyes, shines her light down on me. Cause it's a good thing that's coming over me. There's no other place that I wanna be. Oh yeah, down inside, when it feels alright. Oh, that's when you know, that's when you know it's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Hey, Kim.
Thank you.
You know, you did very good because I was trying to distract you. I saw you laughing a couple times though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
getting
not
better
loud.
at that.
That's not
I actually
loud.
distract myself better than
Oh, okay.
anything else can distract
Yeah,
me.
but I was really trying to distract you a lot.
Well, it didn't work.
You didn't? Yes, it did because you were laughing. I
Well, yeah, I can laugh, but I kept what counted in line.
Okay. So now we're gonna. I think we're gonna.
Larry. Hey, Larry. Hey, Larry. Ladies and gentlemen, Larry Dagan.
Daigle from Friends of Veterans. Give him a hand. Yeah. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to thank Sue Ellen and everybody from the American Legion for putting up with us tonight and putting this whole thing together with us. One of our greatest sponsors, along with the filling station and CATV. Larry, I'll try to give you the mic this time. You want to sit?
No, I don't.
Go ahead, you can sit.
No, I don't want to sit.
Go ahead, sit down.
Okay.
He minds well. You get judged on this too.
I usually get treats for minding though.
You get what?
Treats. You know, like
Well, I danced for you. What do you expect?
Well, that was a treat, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's
I gotta
it.
admit that.
That's right. So do you want to explain to everybody here about Friends of Veterans a little bit and so people can understand? And just remember while he's talking, everybody, that we've got donation boxes down there. We've got stuff for sale down there. Seeing Anita down there. She's just, Debbie's down there waving you guys down. We've got people all over the place. So please be generous. So Larry, here you go. I won't have a cigarette.
Thanks, Linda. I don't have a lot, so make it a quick one. As Linda let you know, my name is Larry Daigle. I'm president of Friends of Veterans here in White River. A few years back, I don't know, about somewhere between 8 and 10 years ago, maybe, I actually was in a group with some friends of mine, and and at the time I was helping some veteran friends and stuff through their disability claims, and a counselor that I was associated with at White River told me about a program that he thought I would be pretty good at, so he introduced me to Friends of Veterans, and I came over to White River and checked it out. And I was pretty impressed the first day I got there with what they do. It's Friends of Veterans, for those of you that don't know, is a homeless veterans prevention and assistance program. It's a all volunteer organization. Like I said, based right here in White River, in the Gilman office complex. But I came over and checked it out about 8 or 10 years ago, and I haven't left, really. I was pretty impressed with what they do. Being a disabled Vietnam veteran with post-traumatic stress disorder, I didn't do that to lay around on the couch and watch soap operas or anything else. Like I said, I was already helping veterans with disability claims. I had to end up doing a lot of my own when I did it years ago, and learned a lot about it. So that's where it started. I started helping people doing that, and I still do that too, as kind of a side deal. But Friends of Veterans has been around since early 80s. Always been all volunteer, and what we do there is, like the name says, prevention and assistance. And on the prevention side, we can have a client come to us, fallen on hard times. And I mentioned post-traumatic stress disorder for myself because for a long time I fought that whole thing and didn't really know what was going on until the bottom dropped out and I came to White River and got help. And I mentioned it because a lot of our clients, and not just ours, but a lot of the homeless veteran problem in this country has to do with post-traumatic stress disorder. You'd be amazed at how many people don't know what that is. They've never heard of it, or it's commonly just called PTSD. But it has a lot to do with the homeless issue in this country, which is starting to get addressed a lot more than it used to be, and recognized as a real problem from combat. Guys coming back get wrapped up in the stress of combat and then coming back to normal life. It's a really difficult thing to do. Sometimes it involves depression, anxiety. Where do I belong now? I'm a lot different than I was. I don't know where I fit in. Things like alcohol become an issue to cover up that pain of the memories, the nightmares. They go along with a 19-year-old kid going to combat and doing what you do. So sometimes alcohol becomes an issue. Drugs become an issue. I went through that whole roller coaster ride a lot of years ago. Fortunately, I've been clean and sober for 23 years now. So, and I was in big trouble. So I'm pretty proud of that. Thank you. So that's just one of the small things that this problem involves, but it's huge. Guys fall on hard times, and maybe they get sucked into the whole alcohol drug thing. They lose their job, and now all of a sudden they're renting a place, and all of a sudden now they get fired or they get laid off. It doesn't have to be just the alcohol and stuff, but hard times like Tim mentioned the economy and what a mess we're in there. For whatever reason, a guy gets in trouble, he's out of work, and he gets behind on his rent, gets an eviction notice. Friends of Veterans can take over from there on the prevention side. We can help financially to erase that eviction notice by helping them catch up with their rent so they can stay in their house. On the assistance side, we can, if a veteran comes to us and actually is homeless, then we can help them get hooked up with the people they need to get hooked up with, like social workers at the VA, claims people if that's appropriate, to help them get back into the employment line and get a job, get sustainable again. We work with tons and tons of agencies, Community Action folks, and a couple other veterans agencies that we work with, and we work closely with the VA, the homeless coordinator up there, to get these guys off the street and into a house or an apartment or even a room or a shelter for the time being to start with. Sometimes it starts there, or transitional housing that the VA runs, which is places where veterans can go, know that they're going to have a roof over their head. They can go out during the day and look for employment, or they can go to school or go to training. And most of them are at least a year, and sometimes a lot longer than that. And once they get employment, they deposit a percentage of their income into an account, so that when they're ready to roll, they come out of the transitional and housing. They have a little bank account that they can get started with for a security deposit or first month's rent. Sometimes they might come to Friends of Veterans for one of those or both. Or the number of homeless veterans in this country, the numbers vary, but you can only count the people that come in for help. I mean, if there's the guys and ladies that are out there sleeping in cars or under trees or bridges or whatever, if they don't come in to get help, they don't get counted. But Friends of Veterans belongs to an organization called the National Coalition for Homeless Veterans. Their count right now, I believe, is between 190 and 200 or 210,000 homeless veterans in this country. I hate hearing that number because as a combat veteran myself, I'm completely embarrassed that we could let that happen. There's a real flaw in the system when somebody does that and puts their life on the line, leaves their family behind. Some come back and some don't. And if you're lucky enough to make it back and you become homeless, there's something wrong with that. There's something really wrong with that. Fortunately, I think there's a better effort in the last couple of years for fighting the homeless issue. But the other part of that is that most of the latest figures have about 10,000 of those homeless veterans are women. And another thing that I always like to mention about homeless veterans, that becomes sometimes a real stigma type of thing. And I think I have found out that when you say homeless veterans, people get this image of this old, dirty, scruffy, bearded, long-haired guy down in New York City leaned up against the building with a cup, and he's trying to get a quarter or a buck here or there. And it's not that. I mean, that's part of it. Just last week, Marcia can vouch for this. We dealt with a family. It's a guy and his wife and 3 little girls sleeping in a car. One night, I think they were able to sleep in a friend's basement. how does that work for your dignity? You know what I mean? When you got your 3 kids and your wife, and you can't take care of it, well, whatever the reason may be, and it may be just the economy, it may be the substance abuse kind of things caused from the stress of combat. But it's a shameful, shameful number, and I get really upset if you watch TV a lot, and I always say this, and some people may be offended by it, and maybe some aren't, but I think it's usually Sunday mornings when Sally Fields comes on TV, and she's standing there broadcasting to the world in some foreign country about sending your $2 a month and adopt this family or this child, and that's good. I mean, we need to help anybody that needs help, and that's the part I don't want to get confused. But I always say that people that do that probably stepped over a homeless veteran in the airport on their way over there, and that bothers me. I've seen it myself. I've seen people walk by these people that are actually on the street. If they are to ask them for money, they humiliate them, call them names, maybe even boot them aside, and that's just a disgusting fact in this country, and it has a lot to do with what keeps me in this business. When I hear those numbers, and like I said, I believe that the number is a lot higher than that, because you can only count them if they come in for help. How else can you count them? But that's kind of what we do, and that's kind of what got me into it. The other issue that we have at Friends of Veterans that I want to mention is help. It's hard to find people that have time to dedicate a day or two or a few hours to come into the office to answer the phones or make some callbacks and things like that. And I just need people to know that we need help big time. We've got some great help. In recent times, we've had 3 retired business guys that showed up, and they are just amazing. But they go to Florida in the wintertime. So we get really short that way. But so I like to let everybody know, and I like people to pass the word that if anybody has any free time, I don't care if it's a few hours or what it is, to call Friends of Veterans and see what you can do, because there's a lot of different things. We do a lot of fundraising things to raise money. We get a small grant from the state of Vermont, but it's all hustled money, we like to call it. We do things. We have friends right in this room that and Linda Carbonell is involved, and her friends that go out and do these little bake sales and things like that to raise money to help us out. And that's the greatest thing that happens to us, when somebody drops by with a check because they went out and did a bake sale. And I've seen it happen for $10, and I've seen it happen. We had the Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association showed up at a fair booth that we were doing down in Cornish last summer, I believe it was. Had told me they wanted to meet me down there at our booth, and I had no idea, but they whipped this big, giant $5,000 check on me, and it just drops you right to your knees that people care that much. So that's kind of how we exist. I remember maybe it was about 3 or 4 years ago, I met Tim up in Barrie at a Battle of the Bands thing that happened up there. Number one, I was really impressed with his band and his music. I thought that was pretty awesome. But the most impressive thing about Tim Brake that I never forgot is when I went there, I had these intentions that every band that played, when they got done, I was going to hook up with them and talk to them about possibly doing some kind of a benefit concert for veterans, for homeless veterans. So when Tim came off the stage and I got hooked up with him, and the impressive part was, I don't think I was done asking when he was nodding his head. Yeah, we're all over that. So kudos to Tim Brake for jumping on the bandwagon, you might say. That we really appreciated it. And the next thing I know, we had our first annual motorcycle run that we do in May to raise money, and I called Tim and asked him what he thought about it, and the same thing before I got done. He was there, I think, and it was awesome. Tim and people at Friends of Veterans talk about that a lot. They're really impressed by that. Well,
We were talking about that earlier.
Tim and I have been chatting, so you know there's going to be some talk. And Tim and I have talked ever since then about getting together and doing something. Tim is really interested in doing more. And so keep your eyes peeled and your ears open, because Tim and I are going to be chatting, and probably Linda will stumble into the picture somewhere, I imagine. Yeah, dancing into the picture. But, yeah. And Linda has been great to us too. Linda has me down to her studio every once in a while, and we do some stuff there, and it's very helpful. A lot of people in town do a lot of things like that mean a lot. So, with all of that rambling done, I'd like to thank Linda for doing this tonight. We don't have a packed house quite, but you know the effort is there, and that's the impressive part, is that people put the effort out there to do this. And you know, if I collected $1, I'd be proud as hell as whoever put the show on. You know, so that's just, it's the whole idea of people wanting to help that is impressive to me. So that's about the story on Friends of Veterans. We do have a website. It's new and it's kind of in the works. Friends of Veterans, VTNH.org. And the same thing happens when somebody does something like this for us, and people like Tim getting involved, and Linda and Linda's friends that do all these bake sales for us. They've been awesome. So I need to thank everybody for that. I'll get our number is 802-296-8368, and like I said, we're right up in the office, our same building as the Vet Center. So rambling done. I just thank everybody for their efforts, and thanks to the contestants that have the guts enough to stand up here and actually sound good instead of listening to me ramble like I do.
Do I count?
I don't know, you have to step up on the stage. Let me see. I got to tell Tim, too, that Linda was over there playing with my ears and my hair and whatnot, but she also whispered in my ear that the next show you're at, she's bringing some portable pole or something that she was going to have on the stage. I thought you should know about that.
You weren't supposed to tell my secret.
But thanks so much, folks, for your help. I really appreciate it. Marcia appreciates it. Thanks a lot. Have a good one.
Thank you, Larry. Can I just tell you a little story about Larry? Just a little one. Just a little tiny one. Please. Okay. When I first met Larry and the guys from Friends of Veterans, Tim Brick was playing that day at the motorcycle run, and just out of a food, somebody asked me if I wanted to go up and videotape the event. And I did. And this is when I fell in love with Friends of Veterans, because I witnessed Larry going over to a homeless vet saying, hey, come on, let's go have some food. Grabbed him a burger, grabbed him a soda, went over and sat beside him, and really what I like to say is loved him like nobody else could love that veteran. And I want to thank you for that, Larry. And that's why you're so close to my heart. Okay? This is what Friends of Veterans does for our veterans. So remember that. Okay, on with the show. Okie dokie. Well, we got a couple things happening here. The judges have been talking. So the two contestants, we're going to have Tim Michaels come up and do a little bit of announcement and talk, and then we're going to have the judges talk, and then we're going to have a decision. How's that? So let's start with the great Tim Michaels coming up. And after Tim Michael makes the announcement, and then while they're deciding what the winners is and all that, then after that, Tim Brick's going to come up and sing another song before we leave. Okay, here you go, Tim.
I don't dance.
Are you trying to tell me to shut up or something?
No. I'm just saying, I don't dance.
Oh, okay. Why not?
Listen, you know, here's what we came up with. Since there were only 2 contestants, and Linda, we expected 8 or 10 at least. Well, actually, we have 3 contestants if you count Linda, so she wins hands down. No, the thing is that we've decided with the 2 contestants that it's only fair that it's a tie. You know, we couldn't pick one over the other, so it's definitely a tie, and they both win. And thank you guys for coming. I'm a veteran of sorts of the Vermont Army National Guard and the Vermont Air National Guard. and spent my lovely 6 months at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Two of the loveliest places on the planet, let me tell you. But I love veterans. My dad's a veteran of the Army Air Corps. And who was saying they jumped out of a plane? Oh. Oh. Oh, that's right. It was the chaplain. You wouldn't catch me doing that. But anyway, thanks a lot for coming.
Well, once again, I'd like to thank Linda for having me part of the festivities here. I'd like to thank both contestants for participating in this event. Awesome job. It's people don't realize how hard it is to actually step up on a stage in front of people and do your thing. And so to both of you, great job. Good luck in the future. Keep out that trumpet, by the way, and keep those boots. Is Linda here? Where is Linda? There she is. Hey, I got a present for you. This is my new CD. I signed it for Linda. Let me read it. It says, Linda, thank you for all your support and enjoy the new CD. There you go. Well, she supports me quite a bit on her TV show. She's had me down there, God, half dozen times at least. And I've had a great time every time, and we'll be back. Bet your bottom dollar on that one.
Yeah, he signed it. I deserve it. Thank you, Tim. And I really enjoyed dancing to Crazy Woman, but I really like that song because I am a crazy woman.
Well, you know, the thing with Crazy Women, when I wrote the song, I was like, you know, women are never going to request that song. I wrote it from a man's point of view because I figured every man could relate to it.
That's right.
And I soon come to learn that women love to be called crazy. They like to have that man on the edge wondering, you know, I might go off at any moment, but you just don't know when. But I've moved on since then, and still play the song. I put it in the set every now and then, usually upon request, because I'm always afraid of offending somebody with that song. Dodging kitchenware utensils. So I'm going to end the show with the title track off my new CD, and this is a song about following your dreams and not letting things or anybody hold you back. This is a song called Free to Run. You always got to make sure you're in tune as a musician. A gambler willing to risk it all. A rambler who never settles down too long, staring out the window, speeding down a lost highway. Purple night sky rolling into Santa Fe. When the morning sun comes, you'll be 1,000 miles behind, not in my mind. Well, I just couldn't stand it. I had to make a change from the scenes that I was living and turn that page to another time, another town, where no one thinks too long on judging a man and his past, what they feel is wrong. If you think I'm gonna hang around and be put down low, you're out of your mind. Well, I ain't gonna say I'm sorry for doing what I wanna do. Well, I'm just a man who wants to sing a song or two. It doesn't make you happy, I know, but there ain't a damn thing I'm gonna do about it now. curtain falls and another show ends. Pack up all the gear and hit the road again. For all the places that I've been to and the people that I know, at the end of the night I always find myself alone. When the morning sun comes, you'll be 1,000 miles behind, and still on my mind. Well, I ain't gonna say I'm sorry for doing what I wanna do. If I had one regret, it's that I had to leave you all behind. Oh yeah, baby, to chase this dream of mine. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a good night. We'll see you down the road a piece.
Okay, so anyway, we've got Lucy and Anita. They have to say their last names because I'm really bad. Larry, if you could come up. Lucy and Anita are going to tell you how much we've made tonight and what we've raised for Friends of Veterans through bake sales, raffles, and the whole 9 yards. They're also going to announce the raffles. Okay, they're going to announce the 50-50 raffle and all that. Okay?
It's okay with me.
Yeah, because if I did it, I'd probably cry.
You're looking at me like you're asking my permission or something.
Yeah, but I'd probably cry.
So, okay.
Okay, so I'm going to turn it over to Lucy.
Well, first of all, I want to thank everyone for coming and everyone that helped out and everybody that's a part of it. It's a great program.
Thank you.
And I think that in hard times, I'm so glad that we have these programs, and I hope we can keep it pumping harder. Rock
Thanks.
it. I don't know how we want to do this. We got two different things. We've got door prizes to draw, and we've got loads of door prizes, and we have the 50-50 raffle winner too. Oh, and how did you want this done, Linda? You want Larry to have his...
Them to do, we'll propose how much we
Oh, you mean you want Larry to have all the money first?
Did you? Yeah, I'm asking you if that's
Oh,
how you
that's a
like
good
it.
idea.
Okay.
Yeah, we may want to give.
All right. Well,
Why'd you wait till the snack bar closed?
Well, Linda and her whole crew worked really hard, and as a result of everybody's generosity, and including a huge winner donor tonight, $356 in cash.
Oh, wow.
And
Thank
then
you.
us Southern gals busted hump and did bake sales and raised a measly $500.
Oh,
Every little bit helps. I'd like to add a lot of zeros to it, but I'm not a magician. $856.
Woo,
we went on
Wow.
So that's awesome, awesome.
Thank you so much.
And now for the prizes. Oh.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Wait, she got the kiss. I just got the hug. What's up with that?
What's that? What'd you say?
So wait, she got the kiss. I just got the hug. What's up with that? Thank you. You do such a good job. You do a great job too. Thank you. Do we have volunteers to draw tickets? Anybody want to pull a ticket?
You want to pull a ticket?
Excellent.
Please?
Do you have anything you want to say?
Do you have anything you want to say on the microphone?
Anything you want to say?
You want to say hi in the microphone? Hi! You hear yourself? Yeah. Eli, you want to say something?
I want to do it up there.
You want to do it up here? I don't think that one's hooked up. You want to turn around and do it right here?
Say it right in that one.
Oh!
Whoa. Oh. You got to give them the ticket so they can read the
Okay,
names
let's see
off.
what the number is.
Okay, I just want to make a quick announcement for the next drawing. I just want to say thank you very much to our 4 judges, Tim Michaels, Brianna Klein, Tim Brick, and Judy Kingsley. I also want to say thank you to Tom Watson for the wonderful videographing that he's doing of this event tonight. I want to thank Sue Ellen and the American Legion. I want to thank CATV and the Filling Station for being our sponsors this year. And I want to thank Larry from Friends of Veterans for being here. I want to thank all you crafters And I especially want to thank Lucy and Anita for the hard work that they've done too. And I want to thank Kayla for doing the music. And I want to thank everybody for putting up with Linda. Okay. So Lucy's got a couple more drawings. And this is the end of the program. Thank you very much. Larry, we love you.
Cruising down a country road, arms around my woman, shaking off my load. Sun shining down, no worries to be found. The wind at our backs and ready to let it ride. 'Cause it's a good thing that's coming over me. There's no other place that I wanna be, oh yeah, deep down inside, when it feels alright. Oh, that's when you know it's a good thing.